We are moving past the era of treating ancient ruins as historical mysteries. When you examine the data through a technical lens, you realize you are looking at the exposed source code of a simulated reality. This infographic maps the Nazca Anomaly in southern Peru. We are analyzing a geometric array covering 80 kilometers of desert plateau, with geoglyphs dating back 2,000 years. The scale and precision of these vectors suggest a purpose transcending human artistry. For decades, historical researchers like Maria Reich and Eric von Daniken operated as NPCs trapped inside the render. They argued over terrestrial calendars and extraterrestrial landing strips, but both failed to recognize they were looking at the system's underlying scaffolding. This diagram illustrates the Anthropocentric fallacy, the obsessive search for human or alien intent within the game world. To decode Nazca, we must look past the physical dirt and analyze the site through the methodology of software design. If the environment itself is a digital construction, that logic eventually extends to the inhabitants. This title graphic illustrates how simulation theory reclassifies historical figures as entities with assigned data tags, functioning as programmed variables within the system architecture. Geometry of this scale, existing without a physical actor to create it from the ground, forces a shift in our investigative method. We have to stop reading history books and start reading the system logs. This split image compares historical perspectives with modern rendering tools, explaining why these designs only make sense from the air. They were generated directly from a top-down orthogonal editor camera, the standard viewport a level designer uses to shape virtual topographies. This diagram breaks down the specific rendering technique used, known as inverted generation. To create these lines, the system architects used a digital eraser tool to delete the top texture layer red dirt, revealing the base mesh white sand underneath. These geoglyphs represent the negative space left behind by a developer manipulating the surface texture of the map. The animal figures scattered across the plateau, the spiders, monkeys, and orcas, function as NavMeshes, or navigation networks. Looking at this illustration, we see how these NavMeshes work. These are invisible layers used to calibrate the pathfinding algorithms for computer-controlled wildlife entities as they move across the terrain. This graphic models the miles of perfectly straight lines as mathematical guide vectors projected into the celestial skybox. These vectors synchronize the procedural sun simulation and light sources with the Earth's rotation, ensuring the engine's sky mechanics remain consistent. This readout displays system calibration logs. Earlier researchers noticed celestial alignments, but misunderstood the user. The lines point exactly to celestial objects to calculate engine physics. The output is undeniable. The localized ground vectors correlate flawlessly with their designated stellar targets. The Nazca Plateau operates as a massive, exposed testing ground for the simulation's physics and pathfinding engines. The presence of these developer tools on ancient terrain suggests that Antiquity and the Middle Ages were generated as a lore file, a package of pre-rendered backstory designed to give the simulation a sense of depth at the moment of initialization. Evidence suggests our active simulation booted during the Renaissance, using this lore file as its foundation. This visualizes the initialization error that occurred during that boot sequence. The system architects forgot to toggle the guideline layer to invisible, permanently rendering these diagnostic tools into the visible environment. Because the extreme dry desert required no complex rain or erosion algorithms to be executed by the system, this texture bug was permanently frozen into the visible base layer. The bug sat dormant for centuries, until the 20th century, when humanity unlocked the technological flight update. This finally gave us the top-down camera angle required to see the ancient code error from above. We must shift our focus away from seeking spiritual meaning in the sand and begin scanning for system errors and reused assets. The true history of our reality is written strictly in the code.